Okay. Right. If you haven't already found a spot that you're happy to be in, now is the time just to release down into the earth. And because we're going to do some pretty hefty stuff leading up to pincha, so forearm stand against the wall, you might spend this time in initially just being soft with the body, just allowing it to melt a tiny bit. And then just allow the breath to inhabit that melt. And when you feel a little bit more connected, you can hear a little bit more from the body. Just see if you can check in with the wrists. So it might be that you move them a little bit, but just see how they're feeling this Monday evening. And then check in with the forearms. And again, that might be a physical, you might touch or you might move, or it might just be ascending your awareness. And then check in with the upper arms. And then all around that cape of the shoulders. And then you might just allow the traps to speak to you. And then just travel your awareness down. And just notice if the breath is flowing really freely through the belly. And if it's not, you might physically pop your hand somewhere on the belly and just allow it to be a little bit softer. And you might go to the outside, the sides of your belly. And they're really simple. Just take 5 deep breaths. But as you do it, imagine that you're in forearm stand against the wall. You're pressing the forearms into the earth, you're reaching the feet, the belly is solid. And just take 4 more breaths in forearm stand. You're imagining it, Trish, you're imagining it, don't worry. So you're imagining forearm stand, you're not in it. I'm going to mute you because otherwise you'll be on the video. Last 2 breaths. And just notice how you feel now. We've just connected. It might be the first time that you've connected to the body today. It might have been very much with the mind. And then if your legs are in Baddha Konasana, you might just roll them out so they're long and in front of you. And we're going to pretty much start with some full-on core straight away. So we just want to make sure that it's awake and ready. So with the legs long and maybe even the arms overhead, as you inhale, imagine peeling everything off of the back of your mat. So chest is peeled off, middle back, lower back comes off. And as you exhale, you squeeze everything down into the earth. So inhale as you peel off, shoulders and chest, mid-back, ribs. And then exhale, woo, you flatten everything down. Lovely. That was a little bit too much with my arms overhead. So if it felt too much for you, take your arms by your side. Doesn't matter, it's just a bit. And just do 1 more. So inhale, really lift everything up. So chest is lifted to the ceiling, rib cage is flared. Yep. And then as you exhale, as if you're kind of squishing something underneath you. Really nice. And then have a little bit of a wriggle. Yes. And then we have those curls up. So if the blocks worked for you last week, we can pop the blocks either side of our hips and we can press down with our hands, and you can adjust where you need the blocks. But that's going to give you a little bit of extra purchase to press down and lift your hips. Yeah. So the palms of your hands are on the blocks. Yeah. And then you just get the hips off of the floor. Really nice. So the sacrum rolls up. Really lovely. And then just keep going here. Nice. If it's fairly easy, slow it down. Really nice, Sammy. Can you start that curl by taking the knees in first? So draw the knees into their chest first, and then lift the butt off the floor. Yes, really nice. If it's really easy, slow it down, really slow it down. Nice, Trish. So yeah, move the blocks so you're happy, and then press into the blocks with the palms of your hands. So you've got that extra bit of purchase that you can press into, bit of leverage for you to lift the butt off the floor. Yes, nice. I would bring your blocks a little bit closer to you so you've actually got the whole palm of the hand on them, not just your fingertips. Higher, I think, is better. Otherwise, yeah, that's it. Yes, lovely. And then just do a couple more wherever you're at. Nice, Elaine. Lovely, Kay. Nice, Louise. Lovely speed. Perfect. And then have a little release. Have a little shake. You might have an informal bridge, an informal Dvipada Pitha might release it. You might quickly flip over into a cat-cow. Oh yeah, a couple more breaths. And then we're going to stay with those anterior, the front of your core. Last breath, really make it a good one. Okie dokie. When you're ready this time, rather than curling in, we're going to stay long, but the same action with our pelvis. So that posterior tilt of the pelvis. So there's a little pelvis tuck. And we're going to come all the way into half bow. As we inhale, we lift opposite limbs towards each other. And as we exhale, we lower back down. Inhale, there's a little lift. It's up to you how high that lift is. Really nice. Keep going. Lovely. If you feel it in your head a little bit, turn your head away. So your head is not just in one plane of pull. Nice. Oh, lovely. Do just one more, and then rest, because I know they're really horrible. Yeah, so horrible. Oh, lovely. There's some more going on. Perfect. Entirely your choice again. We are going to come into our hands and knees, so it might be that you flip over and do cat-cow. Your choice. Yep, I'm going to give you another 2 or 3 breaths to unroll the fibers of the belly. Oh, so amazing. And then we're going to do those weird tabletops with that little leg extension. So when you feel you're good to go, come into tabletop. And then with your tabletop, just make sure that the wrists are underneath the shoulders. So if you have got your camera and you can see, you might just have a look and just check and like, okay, yeah, that looks good. And then if you set the hips back and then lower the elbows, so you're in kind of a weird child's. Nice. Keep the arms exactly where they are, but just lift the hips off of the butt. Lift the hips off of the heels, rather. Really nice. If this feels comfortable, we're going to stay here. If not, you can take the elbows a little bit further forward, so entirely your choice. You don't want to kind of compress the front of the hip. We're going to extend the left leg until the left foot is straight, but it's on the floor. And then lift to the sky. And then just about find the floor. Inhale as we lift. Really nice. Exhale. We're going to take 2 more. And on that second one, we're going to hold the leg up. So we hold it up now when you're ready. Lovely. Push into the palms of the hands. Lift the elbows off of the floor. So we're back in tabletop with one leg. Absolutely great. If you notice that that left hip is kind of opening to say hello, just ask it to roll down and then continue. 5 lifts and lower. So as we inhale, we lift the leg up. So that leg keeps on lifting and lowering. And on the 5th one, which I've lost count, but I think is about now, we hold it up. We shift the weight back and we bend the elbows down. Really nice. And then keep going. 1, 2, inhale 3. Inhaling 4. We're going to hold this one up. Inhale 5. Push down through the palms. Lift both arms together. Really nice. Last one on this side. Inhaling. Should be feeling it in the hips. Should be feeling it in the hamstrings. Maybe even the calf, depending on how knackered you are. Really nice. Okay, keep swiveling that hip down. That's it. Last one, then hold it up. Shift the weight back, bend the elbows. Oh, take the weight off of the hands. Come and give them a shake. Yep. We'll stay here for a little bit. You might just roll through the wrists, taking hold of one wrist with the opposite hand and rolling. Shaking might do it for you. Styles might do it. And then other side. That's such a leg burner, isn't it? And so quick. When your wrists feel okay, that's really nice, Louise, thank you. Again, we pop our hands underneath the shoulders. We send our hips back a little bit and then we bend the elbows. And then we check in. If it feels a little bit compressed in the front of that hip, we can move our elbows a little bit forward so we've got a bit more room. And then we do the opposite side. So the right leg goes straight. That's it. And then as we inhale, we lift. Exhale, just about finds the floor. Inhale as we lift. Really find that top of that lift. Nice. Yes. Try not to move the back too much. So really let it be from the hamstrings and the glute. Last one, we're going to hold it here. Press through the hands. Come all the way up. Lovely. And then stay with the legs. Inhale as we lift. If you've got the sequence and you're good to go, you can ignore me. Just do 5 and then lower. 5 and then rise. Otherwise, we're on the 5th one. Stay. Lower down. Yes, really nice. Inhaling. 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 Last one, inhale, lift. Press through. If you're not sure whether you can do this kind of easily, do it slowly and you should feel whether there's any instability going through the shoulders. Last one before we come down. Inhale to lift. Exhale as we lower. Really nice. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. Last one, inhale. And then keep that leg up. Slowly bend the elbows. See if you can keep the whole thing without collapsing. Oh, and then up to you. You might briefly come up. I feel like a little bit of a camel. It's probably going to be a little bit too much. But literally I'm just going to pop my hips because we've been compressing there quite a lot. So I'm just going to take a gentle camel just for the front of my hips. If you want a little bit of extra support, you can pop your hands onto your hips and that's going to stop you from going super low before we're maybe ready. Yeah. Oh. Really nice. And then gently you can move your hands into a forward fold and then have a little look round for your windowsill or your bench or whatever you've got. I use a bench for mine. You could even use a chair. But what we want is that shoulder stretch with the lift. So depending on how low you are, you might need to kneel, you might need to do a tall kneel, which is this. You might need to do a low kneel. And we're trying to get our shoulders parallel to the ground. So our chest is kind of parallel. You can walk out as much as you need, but your chest is parallel. And then just allow the chest to sink. And then push through the hand. So the hand should be flat, hopefully, and you should be able to press through. And then as you press, come up a little bit. So lift the shoulder blades apart. And then as you inhale to drop back down. Exhale, push and lift. So you're really rounding through the back as much as you're able. Inhale as you lower. Do one last one. Nice. Lovely, lovely, Louise S. Really nice. And then come back into a down dog when you're ready. So hopefully you feel a little bit more room here. Should feel like there's more, just got a bit more shoulder range of motion. From your down dog, as usual, whatever you need in down dog. That might be a one-legged down dog, whatever you need. And at some point we come to the front of our mat in a forward fold. Yep, and when you're there, feel free to have a hang. Just check in with the hamstrings. So it's fairly important that we've got length in order to be able to kick up in our hamstrings, in our pincha and our handstand. So just have a little check-in. Otherwise they do tend to tether you down. And then just remember in our sun salutations, we've got that wrist circle going on. And then we've got the hand interlace at that top of the sun salutation. So with that in your head, as you inhale, rise up to flat back and then just roll the wrists in one direction. Little wrist circle. As you exhale, chair, roll the wrists in the other direction. Inhale, no funny business, just standing salute. Exhale, draw the hands down, interlace the hands in your heart center. As you inhale, push through the palms, lift the palms up to the sky. Lovely. And as you exhale, palms come to the back of your head. You fold forward with the palms on the back of your head. Inhale as you release the palms, come all the way up flat back. Roll the wrists. Exhale, chair. Roll the wrists in the opposite way. Inhale as we push to lift. Exhale, palms meet, hands interlace. Inhale, push the palms down, lift them up to the sky. Exhale, palms come to the back of your head, you fold forward. Last one exactly like that, really nice. Inhale, flat back, little wrist circles. Have a little check-in. Exhale, chair, wrist circles the other direction. Inhale, we push and we lift. Exhale, thumbs in, hands interlaced. Inhale, push down and lift up, palms face the ceiling. As we exhale, I'm clicking everywhere. Palms come to nestle behind you. Forward fold. Beautiful. From here, we're going to step back into plank. Not plank, down dog. Yep. And then just like we've been doing in our midweek flows, we press into one hand. So we rock the weight into one hand and we lift the other one and pop it down. Yep. For now, we're not going to do the jumps in between, but just remember next time we do it, we're going to take a jump every time we get a new hand position. For now, we're just lifting and walking it back in absolute bliss. Yep, so shift the weight over, lift the other leg, or other arm rather. And at some point, the knees will need to bend, so you can let that happen. Perfect. From your forward fold at the back of your mat, lift all the way up. Yes. Take the feet a little bit wider and turn them out. Yep. You might know already how wide you want to go, in which case go for it. Try and keep the back upright. So if it helps, you can have one hand in front and one hand behind. So it's going to keep the spine upright rather than letting it round. And then gently bend the knees. Until you find yourself in a squat. Yeah, at the bottom of your mat. Perfect. Lean a little bit forward, but then rock your hips and find the earth. So we're now in bent knee sit. That's it. We're going to go towards the right. So if you need to move towards the left to get space, go for it. Like I've just done. Come into a side bent sit. So we just let the knees fall to the side. Side bent sit. Perfect. The leg that's furthest away, straighten it out. Perfect. And then hand by the bent knee, lift up. As you circle back, butt down. You might want to cross and come into your hands and knees that way. Yes, that's a sticky transition. Grab your block. We're essentially going to be in dolphin, but we're going to bring our weight forward and back. Probably have your hands like this. I tell a lie. I mean like this. So palms are pressing. So we get the forearms, that's what I meant to say. But thumbs aren't out of it. So thumbs are off, palms are pressing. Yep. If you need two, because it doesn't feel quite wide enough, you can do two that same way. But same thing, palms are pressing. Once you'll feel happy with your block, palms are pressing into the block, really nice. Elbows should be somewhat underneath your shoulders, and then lift up, dolphin. From here, rock the weight back. And then as you exhale, rock the weight forward. So travel forward. Inhale as you come back. Really nice. Exhale. Inhale, keep pressing the blocks or block. Lovely. Do two more. Okay, I'd move your feet a little bit closer in actually, so you can get more, yes, and then just do one with the feet closer in. Lovely. I know it's a little bit more range of motion. Perfect. And then knees down, get rid of your blocks just for a second. Yes, and even though our knees are down, we're going to come back into our forearms. I've just remembered I've forgotten a whole little flow. And then we'll roll down into Sphinx. Perfect. From here, we're going to press the forearms down and imagine rounding through the shoulder blades and then lifting up. And then inhale as we pop everything down. So the first thing, press through the palms, press through the forearms, and then spread the shoulder blades apart. Really spread it. And then lift the belly, lift the pubic bone off. Really nice. So starting with the shoulders. Do two more. So push through the palms, just really nice. Shoulder blades spread. They spread to spread this roundness, and then do the belly. Perfect. One more. Loving that speed, Sammy. Really nice. Yes, lovely. Yep. And then come all the way back to forearm plank. Yes. Who knew? So you can certainly round up to forearm plank if you want. Exactly what we've just been doing. But under the knee lift. Yep. Perfect. And then from forearm plank, rock the weight onto your right side. So you can take the left arm up and pop the left palm down. And then push into that palm, lift the other one up. I made a big hash of that because I've only got 1 foot. But you see what I mean. We're back onto lovely. From here, chaturanga. It didn't get any better. Yeah. Nice. I love the agonized faces. Okay, lovely, lovely. Take a breath. That's all really heavy. Take another breath. And then whenever you feel like it's time to move, Inhale, take your arms behind you, lift the front of the chest now, so opposite way that we've been going. Palms face each other might be really nice, thumbs down. And then lift the legs off. And then just stay here and breathe. Yep, keep staying in locus. If the hands can come a little bit closer together, you might get a little bit of extra lift that you can use. If they don't worry. Last couple of breaths. Lift the legs a little bit more, keep the legs straight. And then drop all the way down. Oh. Okay. From here, we're going to come into pincha hops, forearm hops. If you want to come into forearms in a glamorous way, of course you can. You can come into Sphinx, lift up like we just did, tuck the toes, lift the knees, and then walk the feet in. Just imagine I've done that. And you come into pincha like that. If you want to avoid the hands, you absolutely can. Yeah. Right, so we're in pincha. First time we're in pincha, ready for our hops. You decide on the height, but just try and keep the leg quite heavy that's staying on the ground. Nice, Elaine. Because we're super activated now. Yes, keep the belly really squeezed in, Sammy. So even before you start, think about tilting the pelvis. So you're tucking under to start with. If it feels rubbish on the shoulder, yeah, don't bother. Leave it for today. Yeah, we don't need to do tons, just a couple, because we don't want to be knackered for the wall. We just want a couple of lifts. Perfect. And then at some point, we've either come into down dog to walk forward, or we're already in a forward fold at the top of our mat. Yep, brilliant. From our forward fold, we're going to come all the way into warrior three. So bring the hands into the heart. Right leg's going to stay as it is. Left leg is on the move as we lift our back into that vertical position. Warrior three. Really nice. Press the hands so there's some activation. Inhale, bend the knee, bent knee balance. Looking, yeah. Exhale, it's going to get a little bit tricky. Warrior three. Really perfect. Inhale as you press the hands together. As we exhale, we're going to bend the standing knee, and we're going to keep bending it as much as we need to get the hands on the floor. So bend the standing knee, keep bending it until you get your hands on the floor. Really nice. And then that floating leg, we're going to send it back. So it's like a little runner's lunge. If it doesn't work, just come into runner's lunge. How you know, it really doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. I'm on my fingertips because I'm a little bit long for it. And then from here, if you can, pop your palms down. Send the right leg into a three-legged plank and then a three-legged dog. Yeah. And then that right leg keeps hovering, but it comes underneath you into tiger and you round. Absolutely great. And then step that leg forward. We're back into that runner's lunge. Absolutely great. Just twice more. Rock the weight forward into warrior three. Yeah, we're leaving the breath for a minute because this is a complicated standing sequence. Lift up, bend the knee, bent knee balance. Wonderful. Warrior three. Yes. And then keep the weight tilted forward and then bend the knee until fingertips come down or palms of the hands come down. If fingertips come down, or if palms, drop that back foot onto the floor into a runner's lunge. And I'm going to adjust my stance a little bit. Yep, so just runner's lunge. Palms are down when you're ready. Lift to a three-legged plank. Yes, so that's it. Three-legged down dog. And I've changed my mind. I think we'll just do two, otherwise we're going to die. Tiger. And then pop that foot down back into runner's lunge. You got it. Move that back foot next to the front, just forward fold. Oh, if you've been lifting the head to look at me quite a lot, let the head drop. If you feel like you need a breath of water, go for it. Oh, yowza. That is mean. All right. Have a little check-in again. So we've been really core heavy. We've been really shoulder heavy. So just make sure everything still feels okay, especially if you've been feeling a little bit dommy from the previous weekend. Yeah. Exhale, forward fold. Let's just do a standard sun sal, get our breath back. Inhale, flat back, no funny business. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips low, chair. Inhale, sweep the arms up, make the eyes look. Exhale, hands into the heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Okay. When you're ready, inhale, just do nothing. Exhale into down dog. If you want to look at me rather than come into down dog, feel free. So you might just come into your hands and knees for a minute. So what we're going to do now, same thing. We're going to rock to the side. One hand comes down, but this time when we rock to the other side, we pop the other hand so it's in alignment. It's the same line. We don't go out of alignment. Every time it's in alignment, we take a hop. Try not to do what I've just done there, which is where your happy hop is. So we move your foot. So try not to move your feet. Just have a hop. And then lean again, lift, lean again, lift. I'm in another new position. I'm going to try not to reposition my feet. You can reposition one into the middle, that's okay, but just don't change the length. And then have a hop there. So we get used to hopping in different lengths of down dog, essentially. So rock to one side, lift the other arm, pop it down, rock to the other, pop it down. When the hands are in the same line, take one hop. Doesn't have to be amazing. You just want to experience what it feels like to change the angle. Are you right, Sammy? Yeah. It might be because that was the same shoulder that you had a little massage on. So it might be that it got heavier on the wrist, possibly. Yep. So take it really, really easy. And at some point, we've made our way back to the back of our mat in a forward fold. From that forward fold, when you're ready, inhale, come all the way up, Samastitihi, and then just mountain, just mountain. Have a little shoulder circle and just make sure everything feels okay in there. And your body's kind of giving you the clear to carry on being a nutter. And then before we come into our squat, we'll just take a very soft twist, just check in with the spine, check in with the core, and then twist in the other way. So we don't want to do any massive stretches because that's going to not help the strength. Perfect. Come back into center. Take the feet a little bit wider and turn them out. Your decision on the width. Again, if that helped, one hand on the belly, one hand in the back. Start to bend the knees out. Really lovely. I like to really put some weight through the little toes, and that just makes sure that I'm really opening my knees as much as possible. It's going to be a little bit difficult at the moment. At some point, the butt is as low as it's going to be. So lean the head and the chest forward, but send the hips back. That should hopefully keep your balance. I know it's a weird one. Just means that you can keep your balance to roll back. That's it, you've got a bit more control. From here, we're in a bent knee sit. And side bend sit over to the left. Brilliant. Straighten up that leg that's furthest away from you. Lift up just for a second. And then circle it back down. I'm going to look at everyone now to see if anyone's got a really cool transition that we can borrow. Back into hands and knees. No pressure. No pressure. Nice. So no, that would be a no then. From here we've got our block, 1 on 2. Our palms are pressing in, our thumbs are off. We're in dolphin. When you get into dolphin, if it doesn't feel quite right, adjust it. Up to you how close you want your feet to go. And then really press the block as you take the weight forward. Keep the block press as you send the weight back. So you rock the weight forward, then push the weight back. Really nice. Just do 1 more of those. Looks so good. And then drop the knees down. Get rid of the block. Keep the forearms on the floor. Straighten one leg out. Straighten the other leg out. Lower the knees. Lower the pubic bone. Come into Sphinx. Perfect. Press into the ground with your forearms, so keep them really active. If you want, you can grip a little bit with the fingers. As you exhale, imagine it starting from the very, very top of your shoulder blades. So you inhabit there, and then the rest follows. And then inhale. Lovely. I would say for all of us, take it even slower. So maybe take 2 or 3 breaths to curl up. That's it. And then any sticky points, really nice. Do 1 more. And then Kay, I'm going to tell you when to stop. So I'm going to stop you mid-roll, all right? Or when you're ready, I've got a really good angle. Right, stop there, stop there. You went a little bit further, come back a little bit. Right. How do you roll past that next bit without moving the hips? Yeah, really nice. And then all the way into plank. Forearm plank. Yes, and this really horrible bit. If shoulders are feeling rubbish or toes are feeling rubbish or you haven't got that extra security, you can drop the knees and come into your palms down plank as usual. Otherwise, you press strongly into the left hand and the left forearm. You lift the right hand off. Nice, Elaine. You pop it down, you press in, and you lift up. And you should be in a normal plank. If it doesn't work, who cares? It's very, very strong. I thought I could do it with only 1 foot, but I definitely can't. From your forearm, from your plank, I should say, chaturanga. Elbows bend, knees can come down. Yes, lovely. Take a little breather. You might have a little wriggle. Don't do anything to squish that beautiful angel blue. Yep, another breath, whatever you need. And then hands come by your side. If you take the hands so the palms face each other and the thumbs down, that should have rolled your shoulders in external rotation, which is the opposite of what they've just done. So the shoulder blades squeeze. And as you inhale, you can lift the chest and then lift the legs. Because we're holding it for a little bit of time, make sure the head feels happy, the neck feels happy. Really nice. The arms feel happy. So if you don't want to do that palm facings, don't worry. Yep. Stay here for another 4 breaths. Good, decent locust. Keep the legs really lifting, really lift them. That's what we need to do in handstand. We need to lift the hips and the legs. Last 2 breaths. Last breath. And then settle and rest the whole body down. You can take that little squiggly wiggle. And then just as before, we're going to come into pincha forearm stand, potentially for a couple of hops. All right. Up to you how you want to come back. You can come back how we've got in before, forearm plank, forearm stand, your choice. You might want to roll, curl the knees in, come up to kneeling and do it that way. Who cares? Really nice. So firm through the belly first. If you tend to be a little bit of a back bend, before you even start, curl up. So just like what we did on the shoulders, think about taking the shoulders apart and drawing the core in and start in that position. And that should give you a little bit less back bend. Yes. Really nice. Just do a couple of more. Maybe only one. Nice, Louise S. Really nice. I mean, Louise W. I couldn't see what Louise S. was doing. Perfect. And then just rest. It might be child's as your position du jour. It might be that you come to kneel and just unwind the spine by taking some twists. Sammy, is your wrist feeling all right? Yeah, okay. Those were some good hops. And again, we just check in. So it might be that you use your hands just to have a little feel in, anything that feels a little bit tender, or maybe you just want to make a double sure that it feels all right. Oh. Yeah. And then we're going to come into that forward fold at the top of our mat, ready for that standing sequence. If you need extra space for the warrior threes, go for it. Otherwise, we're in that forward fold, checking out the hamstrings, letting the head really be heavy. Take a look at that left foot. It's going to be bearing a lot of weight. And then press down through the left foot. Start to extend that right foot behind. And then lift the torso until it's parallel, warrior three. Perfect. Just breathe, nothing set as we learn the sequence. Bent knee balance. I've got my hand on my wall. I'm perfectly happy there. Back to warrior three. Yes. Perfect. From here, we're going to bend this front leg as much as we need until we get the hands on the floor. Once the hands are on the floor, we can shift the weight back. That back foot lands in a quasi runner's lunge. If we need to make that runner's lunge a little bit better, go for it. And then press in. Front leg becomes the floating leg. That's it. Three-legged plank first. Three-legged dog after. You got it. You got it. Tiger after that. Yes, hug that tiger in. Step it through. Back into runner's lunge. Perfect. Look forward. Rock the weight back. Warrior three. Absolutely lovely. I'm going to use my wall again. Bent knee balance. Oh, warrior three. Yeah, as usual, we try and level out the hips as much as possible. Bend the front knee. And then pop the hands down. Yes, when the hands are down, even if it's just the fingertips, rock the weight back and you should hopefully send the foot to the ground. Absolutely great. Adjust your runner's lunge so the palms are on the floor. Front leg becomes the floating leg in three-legged plank first. Three-legged dog second. Yes, tiger as we roll in. Step it through runner's lunge. Look forward. Take the weight back as we bend the back knee. Go easy with your toes, Trish. And then come back up, warrior three. Set the foot down, foot to foot. Lift the body up. Ooh. Roll the shoulders. Roll the head. Do whatever else you need to do. You might rock the weight from side to side. You might have some little massage. Hey, Oscar. Look at his little face. All right. And then just as we're doing this, we'll take a couple of minutes, just literally just doing these weird kind of wiggles. And you can decide whether or not it's feasible and whether it's right for you this evening to do any work against the wall. Now, you don't have to do it. I know some of you don't have a wall that's accommodating. You can carry on hopping, and you can even hop in down dog if you want. If you're hopping in pincha, I would be close to something, even if that's a sofa, because pincha, we are apt to, well, you know, I'm not going to say it again. You know why. So if there's a wall that is handy, absolutely. And it might be that wall is better served by doing legs up the wall. It might be that you want to spend these next 3 or 4 minutes that we're going to be against the wall giving shoulders and wrists a massage. So absolutely your choice. Whatever you want, 3 or 4 minutes, whatever you want. Really nice. Lovely, Elaine, good kick. Nice, Trish. Nice, Sammy. Push down with the forearms. Lift up with the feet. So feet come to the ceiling, forearms press down.
I got my foot on the door.
Well done. Well done, Trish. Okay, those were looking good as well. Really good. Sammy, now you come down, just take a couple of breaths, a good long break, and then you might want to go again. No, Trish, you've got the momentum now. You've got it. Really good. Nice, Elaine. Really nice. We've got maybe another minute. Louise, is your traps all right? Ish. Well done for calling it a day. Yeah, totally. Nice. I'm just going to do the last one, the last minute with you. And then we'll come down for some proper massage. If you're doing legs up the wall, if it feels really nice, you can always take them a little bit wider if you haven't already. If you're doing legs up the wall, you might even circle the hands and massage the fingers. Hello, my... Oh, you're soaking wet. Right, if you've got a little wet cat, thanks, pop it. Yeah. If legs up the wall is suiting you perfectly, oh, good idea, Elaine, then stay. You can always add the massaging of the chaps of the traps as you're there. If you want to thread the needle on your hands and knees, that also might be a lovely thing to do. But just take these a little bit easy. So rather than thinking about range of motion and a good kind of stretch, just think about undoing what we've done up. This towel is quite wet. Oh, sorry, no, but I just meant is, you know, you might need to get a drier one. Okie dokie. Really nice. Oh. That's hard. Hang on. You might also notice that your biceps feel a little bit different than they do. There we go. In down dog hops. So in pincha hops, we tend to use a little bit more of the pressing down, a little bit more bicep. So whatever you're doing now, just have it in your head that maybe when you come up, plenty of time. We've got a lovely wedge of time, a proper full meditation, proper full restorative. We're all good. Yeah, basically, that's exactly it, Elaine. That's all I was going to say. So all we need to do with bicep is just allow the arm to switch off. So allow it to be really, really floppy. So that might be rest your hand in your lap. So the bicep goes really soft and then just massage into it. It's quite difficult to actually lengthen out through the bicep. It's literally straight, but taking a little bit behind. Yeah. Equally, your bicep might feel really nice, really fine. In which case, you might do the same kind of idea around that cape of your deltoid, your shoulder. Yeah, and I would imagine if we're massaging around the shoulders, there's probably some areas that feel a little bit bruised. And it might be that you stay with that massage, but you might also massage and then move the arm around. So we can get into some of the deeper layers as we move. Yeah. Oh. So I'm just getting into a little bit, I've kind of wedged myself into just below the collarbone. So I'm kind of pec minor territory. And I'm just literally loosened off the deltoid, which is kind of in front, and then taking my arm forward and back, and hopefully you just get to feel there's some really ropey kind of muscles in a nice way there. Oh, so nice. And then if, like me, you've been focusing on one side, it's probably the side that you've been heaviest on. And then we can go to the other side. I'm not forgetting, if you haven't already, and I haven't seen anyone. God, my bicep is still switched on. It's like when you go to a massage therapist and they're like, okay, just let go. They've got your leg or something, haven't they? And you're kind of keeping hold of it. They're like, no, just relax. And you're like, oh, give me the weight. No, not at all. And same thing, we just check our shoulders. And then if it felt nice just to go into that bit below collarbone. So you're on your deltoid, the front, the anterior side of your deltoid, and you follow it down closer to your chest. And then below the collarbone, there's that little dent. And if you get into that, it might feel really nice. So you might decide just to move the arm and do some soft tissue release. Maybe. Don't forget to move the head and the neck as well. And then last thing, if you haven't already done it, just have a check-in with the traps. You might have already done it. If you feel like you're good with the traps and you've done it already, you might grab your bolster or your block. And if you've got blocks, you might also grab your blanket to pop on top of your block, which is just going to make it next level soft. Oh. Yep. Really nice. Depending on what felt nice with the massage, that might guide you into the types of postures you want to start with. So if it felt really nice to get into that space, that place just below the collarbone, it's probably going to feel really nice to take the blocks underneath you and have the arms out like that. And if you've done that, maybe you take your blanket and you can use the blanket either for your head or you can use it to cushion the blocks. So essentially, as usual, one block for our shoulder blades, one block for our head. Make sure you've got enough space to take the arms into a T shape. Decide where you want your blanket. And you can adjust the width and the length Yeah. Or you might hear some cracking, that's just what happened. So you want that first block to be on the bones of your shoulder blades. And that second block to really support the back of your head. Depending on the shape of your shoulder blades, you might need to use the block on its kind of widest setting, or you might need to use 2 blocks on their middle setting. Just depends on how long your torso and shoulder blades are. And as usual, you can stay there for as long as you want. I have to say, I think I could probably stay there for another minute. It might be that as your block's already there, you might decide to use that block that's underneath your head to massage that little ridge of skull, joining the soft tissue and the skull. So you might just reposition that block that's underneath your head, get it in somewhat of that line, skull and soft tissue, and then just allow your head to fall one way and fall in the other. And maybe you change the position of your legs as well. If they've been in one position for a while, maybe they bend or straighten. And then we've got time for about one long last restorative posture, or maybe 2 not quite so long. It might be that you feel your hips a little bit. So maybe you think about doing Gormukasana on your back. If the thought of doing something that we don't normally do makes your brain go, then maybe just do pigeon on your back. Gormukasana, if you think about our legs when we sit, essentially it's the same. So we cross the legs over, we bend the knees, and then we take hold of those legs, one hand to each shin or knee, and then we draw them a little bit closer in. And then just imagine that when we sit, our heels would be outside of our hips. It's the same thing now. So if you haven't already taken your heels wider than your hips, think about doing that. Yeah, because if you think we don't sit on our heels when we're in cow face, that's it. And if, like me in cow face, you normally have one leg straight, feel free to do that now. So it's cow face without gravity weighing it down. Yeah, lovely, Sally. And then whenever, and sometimes it takes a long time, the hips are really large. They've got a lot of body to them. So take your time, but when you feel ready, you can cross the legs in the opposite direction. Bend the knees, hug the knees in. Take the heels wider than your hips. Just imagining that you want to sit there. And again, if it feels too intense, straighten up one of the legs. Oh. Really nice. Spend as long there as you wish. I'm just going to put myself on mute so I can turn off my main light. Yep, and we're starting to think about our 7-minute meditation. So we want to be as comfortable as possible so that the body doesn't start kind of knocking on our door. Let me in. So that might mean kind of taking care of it now, whether that's temperature-wise or position or drink. And just know that at any point you can change position. At any point you can have a little shoulder shuffle or a head movement. And I'm just going to simply do what I do all the time, although less so now, unfortunately. Breathing in through left and out through right. And then in right, out left. And each time my mind goes and takes that little wander off, sometimes I catch it within a couple of seconds. Sometimes it's more like a minute. But as soon as you catch it, just, that's brilliant. That's just your mind doing its job. And just remind it that just for 7 minutes, that's all we're asking. It's going to be focused on something. Can have a little break. I'll ring the bell when it's finished. So you can start really gradually, really slowly maneuvering and just allowing the body to get ready. Yeah. It might be that you make your way onto your side. You might already be upright. But wherever you are, at 7:30 right now, this moment, how do you feel? And then whatever it is, however you feel, whether it was an emotional or more of an energetic thing, can you just accept whatever it is? Take a breath and accept. And if you haven't already, come to rise, take as many breaths as you need to do so. And then I feel like a bat. As you inhale, you can unfurl the wings and take them all the way up. Oh, and then let them drop. Inhale, my underarms ache. Take the arms up. Exhale. Oh, last one. Inhale, left and right joint and meet. And they reside in your heart center, both sides. Heart center. Namaste. Oh, I'm going to turn off the recording. As usual, feel free to go as